Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us live for today's webinar. My name is Mathilde. I'm the marketing manager at Amity, where we provide customer success managers with the platform that they need to retain and grow their SaaS customers at scale. We're really thrilled to be discussing the topic of live chat for customer success today. We're joined by the awesome McKibbin from Help Scout, who has implemented live chat for her team and was able to overcome major customer success hurdles, specifically in regards to adoption during onboarding. And that's a lot of what she'll be talking about today. So really excited to share all of this with you guys. Mo will be able to tell you a little bit more about herself and about Help Scout as well. And we're really excited to be joined by a real-life customer success practitioner who can actually share her firsthand experience with all of us. So hope everyone is excited. Now I just want to share a couple of housekeeping notes before we go ahead and get started. We will be recording the webinar, and we will be sharing that recording as well as a replay link for everyone later this week. We do have a Q&A planned at the end of the session as well. So at any point, you can open your Q&A panel in Zoom and send us your questions. We also have a chat going on the side where you can engage with each other. Let me know if you have any questions as well in regards to the logistics of the webinar, and I will be keeping an eye on that. And as usual, join us on Twitter using the hashtag CSWebinar and tag us at GetAmity and at Help Scout, and we would love to engage with everyone. So for anybody who is joining us for the very first time this week, Amity provides customer success management software that allows for health scoring, tracking engagement, automating emails, analytics, and more. And if you want to learn more, you can request a demo online. You should be able to find a link in the chat right now, or just send me a chat and I can set that up for you as well. But that's all that you're gonna hear about Amity today, because we're super excited to introduce today's presenter, McKibbin. So Mo, thank you so much for joining us today. Hope you're as excited as we are.
Yes, I totally am. Thank you so much for having me. So first off, I just wanted to give a little introduction on me. So my name is Mo. I've been in customer support for about 8 to 10 years, depending on what you count, and then specifically SaaS for about 4 of those. So now I'm a customer champion at Help Scout, which is a help desk software, and I lead an initiative there that we call support-driven growth. What that is basically using proactive customer success tactics in reactive customer support interactions to increase customer engagement with what we know to be super high converting touch points. So I look specifically at engagement touch points like chat, but then also consults, webinars, and support emails, and how those correlate to increasing paying customers. So with that, we need to talk about chat. So like I'm sure many of you, we have an enthusiastic CEO who reads a lot of blog posts and articles and then tends to have a lot of ideas based on those. Some of those posts make claims like 57% of customers prefer to get help by chat over other mediums, or 73% of customers report a positive support experience with chat over email and phone. 63% of customers said they were more likely to return to a website that offers live chat as opposed to one that doesn't. And then my personal favorite CEO bait, chat can increase your conversion rate by 45%. That made our CEO like, and our support team like, so why so unamused? There are a lot of reasons to be scared of chat. So here's the 2 biggest concerns that we had as a team. First and foremost, managing instant gratification expectation. You know, this can be really tricky when you're in SaaS. And some of the things that you help with are troubleshooting these like WTF bugs that might have creeped in from a recent deployment. And while you're digging into a bug report trying to reproduce, and the customer is on chat, very shortly they start saying things like, hello, are you still there? If someone waits 2 minutes for a chat, they may already feel like they've had a bad experience. Whereas you can get an email in like 20 minutes or even an hour, and the customer will be like, wow, that was really fast. It's also hard to execute quality interactions at scale with chat. So we were a small team of 5. And at the time, we had no plans of changing that. And chat traffic can be unpredictable depending on your website's traffic and strategy. So for example, you may have some Twitter thought leader tweet a page that has chat on it, and then you get this huge burst of folks all at once, all expecting their question to be answered, like right now. So we've grown a lot since then, but at the time, we had very light coverage for the 24/6 email support we offered. So adding another channel, especially one as demanding as chat, made us very, very nervous. But you know, those magic CEO words, let's just try it. So we did. And here's what we learned. First and foremost, while you're testing, it's important to start slowly. Chat can feel like you are drinking from a fire hose super quick. At first, we tried it on the pricing page and the competitor pages and in app all at once. And that made our support team leave every chat looking like so. Oops. We just tried it on one page at a time. So this was also really nice for making it much easier to get good, clean data on where chat was most effective later. So we decided to try it on key pages of the marketing site first, and then in-app during the customer's 15-day trial only. Which brings me to my next lesson. Actually measure. I know this seems obvious, but it is really hard to get buy-in from a team that's working on trying a hard new thing that makes you feel like you're doing an Ironman if you cannot prove that what they are doing is actually valuable. So when we first started these experiments, the team said things like, these conversations are worthless, it's just busy work, I don't see how this is possibly helping. And in some cases, they were absolutely right. So when you actually measure, set specific goals for chat based on exactly what you want to gain from it, specific to where it's placed. So it's absolutely cool if other learnings emerge, but have a clear goal in mind to test first. Otherwise, it really can feel like it's not working. So on the marketing site, our first goal was to increase visitor to trial conversion. We plan to measure this by cross-referencing the email address of chatters to new accounts created later than their chat date. So that was a little bit messy for sure, as sometimes folks chat with different email than they set up their account with. And we did have to take that into account when measuring results. But the funny thing is, we found it wasn't effective for the goals that we set for actually totally different reasons. Reasons we didn't predict. There were so many people, and those people were not at all who we wanted to talk to with this goal. So here's some of the chatters that we saw. About 18% were existing customers. So this included existing customers who discovered we had a chat on the marketing site, and then they just decided to use it for their personal one-on-one help experience, which is not what we intended. Happy to help those customers, but that wasn't the goal of the marketing site chat. 5% were job seekers. So these were folks applying for a job at Health Scout that wanted to ask us some questions before applying. Some people were people who wanted to sell us something. So folks saying like, hey, can you get me in contact with someone from your marketing or editorial team to promote a link to our blog and yours, or recruiters wanting to get in touch with HR about software engineering jobs they can source for. There were a few developers wanting to build an integration, in which case API support is like the epitome of something you do not want to deliver over chat. And then we even got confused customers of our customers. So these were folks who landed on our site because they accidentally clicked like the Powered by Help Scout link in our docs or beacon on a customer page, and then they somehow got redirected or landed on our site. And yes, I don't want to say that we didn't see any prospective customers, because obviously we did, but the ones that we did not show compelling enough of a rate of creating a trial account to merit all of the extra work that our support team was doing. So this was really frustrating for our support team, and it really was, in their own words, kind of worthless. So another time we tested on the marketing site, we had different goals. So this time, the goal was to increase the amount of qualified leads we got to sales. So this was measured specifically by meetings booked after a chat interaction. We also got a little smarter about who we showed chat to by leveraging some Clearbit data. So with Clearbit, we did reduce some of the noise, but in the end, only achieved the goal of getting meetings booked with 5% of chatters. So what's funny about this is when we replaced our chat with our Beacon email messenger, we actually got twice to 3 times as many leads to engage with sales. So it was a lot of work to accomplish the goal with chat. And we got even more with something as passive as an email messenger, which of course allowed people that 20 minutes, an hour to get back to them as opposed to instantaneously. So I know chat is starting to look pretty bleak. And I'm sure you're saying, Mo, I joined this webinar to see how chat would solve all of my company's hopes and dreams. And you're really not delivering here. But then we found something that did work. So the next thing we tried was putting chat in app only during onboarding, the evaluating and onboarding phase. So specifically the customer's 15-day free trial. So we obviously wanted to look at trial to paid conversion as one of the goals here, but actually the first indication we saw that something was really working was with one of our biggest blocker setup issues. So for us, since we're a help desk and an email management tool, the hurdle that our customers most likely go through the hurdle that our customers have the hardest time going through is getting their forwarder set up from their mailbox to Help Scout. So this has historically been our customers' biggest hurdle during setup, and there is, from testing that we've done in the past, there is a significant difference in folks that become paying customers that accomplish this step versus the ones that don't. So after we launched chat in app in January 2017, this is what we saw. So as you can see at the little mark at where January 2017 is, there is a nice little 26 there. And then the very next month, it's 42%. Whoa. So the amount of customers that passed our biggest hurdle jumped from 26% to 42% instantaneously. We also saw that week after week, about 40% of trial customers that engaged in chat became paying customers. And then another thing that we saw, based on just some things that we were measuring in other places, was that chat actually increased our overall customer engagement. So customers weren't replacing email with chat, though some certainly did. But a customer who chatted with us, we actually saw they probably wouldn't have gotten in touch with us at all. So we were able to engage with new customers we otherwise would not have touched and probably would have lost. So this was something our team could get behind. We were actually helping more people, and we had a direct impact on revenue. And chat during onboarding made a lot of sense. So it helped solve blocker issues instantaneously. Though the forwarder is our biggest blocker issue during setup, it's certainly not the only one. There are plenty of opportunities for customers to attempt to set something up, encounter a problem, get frustrated, and leave. So this also kept customers in the app. So once they leave, you have this added point of friction to try to get them back in the app. Yes, they might try again once they receive your support email. But if they've already moved on to a different task for the day, you might have lost them for days or weeks. And the longer they take to get set up, for us, the less likely they are to eventually buy. Another cool byproduct of this is that it actually flagged confusions that we didn't even know that we had. So you learn a lot from a customer's stream of consciousness that happens real time in chat. So we were able to tweak confusions in our product from questions customers had by going through the setup motions in real time that they probably would have never written an email about, because they weren't like large enough hurdles for them to stop, but they were, you know, repeatedly we were hearing the same things were confusing over and over again. And we were able to relay that to our product team. So in fact, our CEO loved how how chat helped our business so much. He decided that we build our own. Since Help Scout is a customer support tool, we have decided to incorporate, we've always focused on email support, but this was such a significant help for us that we actually started building our own chat tool. So we've seen firsthand the impact chat has had on our business. Our chat tool is going into Beacon 2.0. So that's the second iteration of that email messenger widget that I was talking about earlier. So Beacon is actually a perfect tool for teams who are chat curious, since it also serves as a messenger widget and a portal to docs, so for self-serve help. And after this webinar, just FYI, we'll send a follow-up email that'll allow you to sign up for notifications when we launch, which is actually really, really soon. So now putting chat into practice. So now that we knew where chat was most effective for our business and our customers, we had to put it in play. So first, put it in the most effective place. We talked about this. For us, this was in-app during onboarding in the 15-day free trial. So for your business, this may be very different. So if you have blocker issues in your shopping cart, for example, it may make way more sense to put chat there. Or if you see a lot of questions coming in about and confusions coming in about certain products you have on your marketing site, you may want to stick it on those product pages. The important thing here is to test and be thoughtful about where you place it. That is the most important thing. Get enthusiastic buy-in from the support team. So this was easy once we had the data to show how impactful it was on the business. But if you don't have that data, this can be a hurdle. And then create a realistic schedule to ensure coverage during heaviest customer traffic hours. So you don't have to have chat on 24/7. So we decided to have it on 9 a.m., 5 p.m. Eastern times, since that's when we experience the most volume from our customers, and also had the most coverage from our team. So some takeaways. If you're chat curious, but nervous about managing it with your team, don't be. Just make sure to start slowly. Don't throw it on all the pages all the time. Test one at a time. It takes patience, but it will be worth it in the end to know what works. Then actually measure your results. Figure out exactly what the goals are of chat, and then make sure you're hitting them before continuing. Chat can be really exhausting if you're not optimizing when and where you're chatting. Figure this out with thorough testing, and you'll find where it's most effective and manageable. And then use it in the right place at the right time. So once you find your perfect place for chat, continue to optimize based on when it's most effective to have on, and then create a schedule for your team so it can be on when it matters, and minimize exhaustion by monitoring during low traffic periods. All right, so thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions?
Hey Mo, thank you so much for that presentation. That was awesome. We already have a lot of really great questions. So with 10 minutes left, let's get started and try to answer as many as we can. How does that sound?
Yeah.
Cool.
So the first question was, how did introducing live chat impact your overall conversion rate? So Jake, this is a really tricky question to answer. As a company that tests lots of things at once. So here's the thing. We also tested things like pricing experiments. We also tested things like we also launched a Salesforce integration. We also we're deploying products all the time that are deal breaker products that people ask for. And on top of that, we we do pricing experience all the time and things like that. So I'm really, really, really hesitant to say how chat affected our overall conversion rate, because we definitely did see things go up. We also saw certain things go down. And I don't want to make the mistake of affiliating it exactly with chat, but I can say what we did see was the blocker issue that then leads to conversions get a hike up. And then also we saw that 40% of our customers that chat did become paying customers, which was more, for example, it's 35% of people that write an email become paying customers. And obviously there's a lot of correlation, does not necessarily equal causation for some of this stuff, because obviously a more engaged person is going to be more likely to buy anyway. So I'm really, really, really hesitant to give you that specific, and I deliberately left it out for that purpose. But I will say we saw really, really, really positive indications in places that we do know increase our conversion rate, if that helps.
Awesome. We actually have one quick question in the chat here, building off of what you just said. Rick is wondering, can you just clarify quickly what you mean exactly by blocker issues?
Sure. So these are the issues that if you don't accomplish this step, you do not pass go, you do not collect $200. You are, you can't use Help Scout. So like I said, for us, Help Scout's an email management tool. If you don't set up your mail, you can start a trial, but if you don't set up your mailbox, Help Scout is worthless. I mean, I shouldn't say that, because there are definitely, we have docs and some people just use docs and things like that. But let's just say if you don't have docs or a mailbox, then this is just an empty trial where someone may just have tried it and then totally abandoned it. So if you don't, you basically cannot move forward with the product until you accomplish these steps. So those are what I consider blocker issues. And then we also had things where it was they weren't necessarily blocker issues, but they were things where they certainly would make Help Scout stickier, that we were able to introduce folks to earlier on. So for example, setting up a workflow, which is an automation tool of ours, it's not a blocker issue, but it's kind of it's not a blocker issue if you don't set up a workflow, but it's kind of a wow feature that we have. And so being able to point people to those things and navigate setup problems with those things earlier was certainly helpful for us as well. But yeah, so I would define a blocker issue. They're going to be different for every app, as whatever you have that if the customer does not execute, using your product is essentially worthless.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thanks for the clarification. We do have a question here in the Q&A. I think you can see it. How did you manage expectations with trial customers so they weren't disappointed to no longer have chat for support when they were a live customer?
So this is a really, really, really good question. The only thing that I can say is that we really only heard any sort of bleep from it from one or two customers that were the kind of customers that we talk to every day. So we heard it from so few people that were upset when we didn't have it anymore, that I can actually even remember their names. That's how few people it was, but it's also, as I'm sure you know, in success and support, these are the people that just fill your queue. with questions. So you get those same people in chat, and those are the only people who would say things like, where does your live chat go? I would say about 90% of the customers that we chatted really did use it in a way that I would call respectfully, which is like they used it when they had a problem and then they were on their merry way. So they didn't use it to just talk to us like we were their best friends. We had some customers that did that, but not everyone. And then the second part of that I would say is because we're using Beacon, Beacon is also a help widget. So we would you would maybe lose the chat widget, but then like there's still a get help menu. There's still in-app help. It's just by email. We actually heard very, very little complaints, but we did actually have an idea. We just never implemented it of like maybe at the 15-day free trial and it would be like just a little message or something that was like, hey, where's my chat? You know, and then like use Pendo to like point them up to the help menu for Beacon, or like, here's where you can find help now. But we really found it was such a non-issue with our customers that we just never ended up implementing that.
Awesome. In the chat here, we have a few questions about how you rolled out chat with your team and the operations around it, which is pretty interesting. So first of all, Carmen was wondering how many chats are your agents handling at once? And we also had a question about the shifts that you mentioned. So does everyone work in shifts? And yeah, how do you manage it in terms of your team?
Yeah, so we still are a really lean team. We're still a really lean team. So what we do in terms of, let me see if I can actually get a screenshot to maybe share in the chat of what our chat calendar looks like. Hold on. We essentially have, everybody is accountable for like the queue and email support all the time, but we created a shared Google Calendar. And you know what, it's entirely possible that this is, I would say my skill set is not in like the coordination element, but in like testing and experimentation. So it's not necessarily like, this is not necessarily like the best method. But so we have a chat calendar actually that we share for Google, through Google. And then like everybody is aware of their, chat. Here, I'm gonna share this in the chat.
Cool.
Everybody is aware of when their chat shift is. And then we use Slack to communicate as a team. So what we'll do is, this is so silly and like pretty cute, but like really silly, is like, so we have, we have this little jumping dog gif, or not, it's like it's like a Slack emoji, like, but an animated Slack emoji. So when we jump into chat, like everybody knows that it is like our like chat shift from the calendar, but also in Slack, like if we're having like, if something happens, like maybe we're on a call and it goes on longer and then, and we can't jump in right away, what we do as soon as we're going into chat is we post like this little jumping dog emoji, and that tells everybody that we're in chat. And it also tells the person who's on chat now that they can leave. And then on that note, the leaving little animated emoji is this little dog swimming out. So it's just like, happy dog jumping into well, it used to be Drift. We used to use Drift. Now we use our own product, obviously. Like, so like, yeah, it was like just a happy dog jumping into chat, and then it was like just a happy dog swimming out of chat. And there was like another way we also like made it like a fun thing for support, because like it just put a positive spin on things. So yeah, we have the calendar, and then we just have the emojis that like help indicate when we're going in and out of something. And then, yeah, since we're using Slack, we just communicate stuff like, hey, this came up last minute. I'm not going to be able to do my chat shift. Can somebody stay in? And we obviously, of course, want there to be coverage all the time, but we're also not afraid to just turn it off if we absolutely have to, in which case our customers are prompted to email, and then they just get an email widget. And it's okay. It's like, it's not, it certainly helps to have chat on, and it's impactful and it's important for us. But if it's like going to be like 20 minutes where it's not on, we're not like about it.
That's awesome.
So there is a question in the Q&A panel that I do want to address because we actually do this really interestingly at Help Scout. So somebody asked, do you have non-support people like CSMs handling live chat, or is it only support handling chat? Adding to that, did you have to hire additional support folks when you rolled out live chat? So this is a really good question. And so one of the things that I do at Help Scout is I lead an initiative called Support-Driven Growth. What support-driven growth is really like making your support team also CSMs. So the philosophy that we use is really, I used to be an improviser. So it was like, it's using the yes and philosophy that comes with improv, if you ever did improv. And it's when a support interaction comes in, you say, yes, we can do that. And I noticed from your account that you don't have any workflows set up. You know, some of these problems would be solved a lot easier if you had this, you know, basically recognizing things in your account to drive them towards sticky features, or drive them towards, if they're during trial, drive them towards high engagement touch points. So really our support team are all also CSMs. And then on top of that, we do things like we have, like one of the support-driven growth things is also this thing that it's like reactive, proactive, or proactive, reactive support. So we'll use HubSpot to send notifications when certain things haven't been done. And then our support team will react to the notification in a proactive, so the customer thinks they're being proactively taken care of, but the support team is actually handling it reactively from a notification. So yes, so to answer your questions, our CSMs are our support team. Support-driven growth is about how you can actually drive revenue with your support team. And as far as did you hire additional support folk when you rolled out live chat? So the answer to it, when it's like immediately, no. We actually stayed with that team for a long time. However, now that we are launching our own chat product, we are probably going to do the thing where it's like having it on all the pages at all the time because we want to dog food our product. So now we have hired additional folks to help with that volume. But so you don't have, like what I just gave you is how you can do it without hiring additional folks. If you want to put it on all the pages and all the time, yeah, you're going to have to hire additional folks.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you so much for answering that.
So somebody else asked, we already have live chat implemented. How can we improve it? Any tips and tricks? So, I mean, honestly, I think that like using it for other goals. So I mean, I don't know what your goals are. I don't know how you've implemented it, and I don't know what you're using it for, but like, I do think that testing and optimizing is always going to make you better. So think about what goals you want to achieve with live chat, put it in some environments, test specifically for that goal. And if it accomplishes the goal, then like, you know, maybe you don't need that chat volume there. So then that will help you optimize it. Again, this is, I mean, obviously we're going to follow up via email. Like if you want to have a more thoughtful discussion with me about how your specific team can improve it, like, you know, totally feel free to follow up via email, and we can talk shop about like specific use cases.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a lot of really good questions coming through, and I don't think we'll have time to, we haven't been able to answer all of them, but definitely what would be the best way to get in touch with you after the webinar? And I guess people should expect the email from you guys, and then maybe they can learn more about your chat product and chat in general by responding to that.
Yeah, totally. So that would be awesome. So honestly, the very best way to get in touch with me is, I live in Help Scout and I do not live in Gmail. So honestly, help@helpscout.com. Since Help Scout is, like I said, a help desk / email support management. If I can just tell the team if they see anything come in that's like in regards to this live chat webinar to assign it to me. And then I manage things way better in Help Scout than I do in Gmail. So that's probably the best, is just help@helpscout.com.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much, Mo, and thanks everyone for attending. We're getting a lot of people really loving the support-driven growth part that you shared, so I'm glad that's resonating with people.
Good.
So yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to wrap things up now, but really appreciate everyone taking the time, and especially you, Mo.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was wonderful.
Awesome. That was awesome. Thank you so much, guys, and thanks, Mo.
All right, bye-bye.